Welcome to part 2 of our video on cell, the building block of life. We will continue exploring the intricate structures and functions of the cell. Let's examine the structure of a cell, starting with the cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane. This universal feature of a cell is a thin boundary that protects the contents and defines the cell's individuality. Importantly, it is selectively permeable, allowing some substances to pass through while blocking others. An example of a cell membrane's selective permeability is seen in the lungs, where oxygen and carbon dioxide move across the membranes of the alveoli. The images show an experiment with potato pieces placed in plain water and a 20% salt solution. Observe the initial and final states of the potato pieces. In beaker A, the potato piece swells, while in beaker B, it shrinks. Osmosis is the movement of water through a selectively permeable membrane. It moves from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution until the concentrations equalize. Diffusion is the net movement of particles from a higher to a lower concentration. Consider the potato cup experiment shown here. This setup demonstrates osmosis under different conditions. Think about why water gathers in cups B and C but not in A and D, and the purpose of cup A. In plants, water from the soil enters the root cells through the process of osmosis. This diagram illustrates how cells respond to different solute concentrations. In a hypotonic solution, the cell swells due to water gain. In an isotonic solution, there is no net water movement. In a hypertonic solution, the cell shrinks due to water loss. The cell membrane is explained by the fluid mosaic model. It is extremely thin, about 7 to 10 nanometers thick, and composed of a lipid bilayer and embedded proteins. The lipid bilayer has water-attracting heads and water-repelling tails. The fluid nature comes from the molecules moving sideways, flipping, and rotating within the membrane. The proteins act as gatekeepers. It's called the mosaic model because the molecules are arranged like tiles in a mosaic. Moving to the cell wall, plants require a rigid structure to resist environmental stresses like wind and rain. Plant cells have an additional covering outside the cell membrane called a cell wall. It maintains their shape and helps plants stay upright. Although rigid, the cell wall is permeable. Observe the appearance of a Rio leaf in water versus in a salt solution. In the salt solution, the inner contents of the cell shrink, a process related to the cell wall's function. When a plant cell loses water in a concentrated sugar solution, the inner content shrinks and the cell membrane pulls away from the cell wall. However, the rigid cell wall prevents the entire cell from shrinking, helping the cell remain firm. Unlike plant cells, animal cells, such as cheek cells, lack a cell wall. Consequently, when placed in a concentrated sugar solution, they lose water and shrink completely. The plant cell wall is primarily composed of cellulose, a carbohydrate that aids in digestion as roughage. Microorganisms like fungi and bacteria also possess a cell wall for protection and structural support. This diagram further illustrates how animal and plant cells behave in different solutions. In a hypotonic solution, animal cells lyse, while plant cells become turgid. In a hypertonic solution, animal cells shrivel, and plant cells become plasmolysed. This concludes part 2 of the video. Join us for part 3 to continue exploring the building blocks of life.